面差唔多係咪？係如果俾後邊啦，係前面麻煩攞低啦，俾後邊。後邊得嚟。前面麻煩。好，到後邊啦，唔該，到後邊啦，到後邊啦。
OK。
好，咁啊，歡迎各位出席今日嘅記者會。咁首先請主席。
Welcome to today's press conference. Good morning. Good morning, friends from the media. The 7th term of LegCo is the first term elected after the improved electoral system and patriots administering Hong Kong have come into effect. This signifies a new beginning. Today, I'll recap the work of the first session of this term. With the improved electoral system, the number of seats in LegCo this term has increased from 70 to 90. The LegCo is more broadly representative and has a balanced participation from society. Members are from different sectors, different strata, different professional background. They all do their parts in a pragmatic manner for the development of society. Sensible and peaceful discussions return to the chamber. 4 members joined the new 6th term government when it took office on the 1st of July. They continue to serve the public in a different position. Hence, there are only 86 members at the moment. The by-election of the Election Committee subsector will take place this Sunday to fill the 4 vacancies. I look forward to working with the 4 new members. From this term on, the legislative session is changed to start in July and end in December. We have held 33 meetings totaling 264 hours. The Council operated with high efficiency and has passed a number of bills and motions that benefit Hong Kong and its people. In light of the severe epidemic situation in Hong Kong at the beginning of this year, this Council has passed 2 resolutions to enable the Council and its committees to conduct remote meetings to continue with their constitutional duties. Between February and April, 7 Council meetings have been conducted by video conferencing. Members shared the same concerns as Hong Kong people. Through remote meetings, members continue to follow up on anti-epidemic work, livelihood issues and matters related to the economy. They have dealt with the first reading of 6 bills and passed 1 bill. The Council had a debate on the 2021 policy address between the 16th and 18th of February and received the budget delivered by the Financial Secretary on the 23rd of February. There were 5 Chief Executives' question and answer sessions in this session. On top of that, the incumbent Chief Executive proposed a new idea to conduct regular anti-chamber exchange sessions for officials to hear members' views in a policy conception stage so they can fully understand the views of the public and can make the policies more practical. In the first exchange session in mid-July, the chief executive attended with 3 secretaries of departments and some principal officials. They had a frank exchange with members. In subsequent sessions led by secretaries of departments, members took part actively to discuss matters close to the heart of the public. So far, there has been 5 successful exchange sessions. Members have made a number of suggestions on different areas, such as restarting the economy, relaxing inbound quarantine arrangements, increasing the capacity limit per table in catering businesses. These suggestions have been accepted and implemented. I'd like to say that the executive and the legislature may have different roles. The most important thing is that the two can complement each other. Such exchanges promote healthy interaction. I hope the government will work on the experience gained thus far and continue to come to LegCo to exchange views with members for the good of Hong Kong and its people. This term of LegCo has returned to the right track. Members diligently perform their duties, which is shown by our work on bills consideration. In this session, the administration introduced 25 bills, with 17 having been passed. One of the bills was the amendment of the Employment Ordinance, which aimed at protecting employees who were absent from work for meeting anti-epidemic requirements. Another bill relating to the epidemic was to defer actions to dun rent from business tenants. Other important bills passed include a bill on abolishing offsetting arrangement of the Mandatory Provident Fund and one that dovetailed the establishment of the Preparatory Office of the International Organization for Mediation in Hong Kong. The latter helps to strengthen Hong Kong's development into an Asia-Pacific International Legal and Dispute Resolution Center under the 14th Five-Year Plan and the Outline Development Plan of the Greater Bay Area. What is worth mentioning is that this Council has passed the Copyright Amendment Bill 2022. The administration introduced a bill to amend the Copyright Ordinance in 2011 and 2014 to reform the copyright regime of Hong Kong by enhancing protection in the digital environment. On both occasions, the process could not be completed due to filibustering. Finally, the bill was passed last Wednesday, the 7th of December, so the regime in Hong Kong can be updated and aligned with international standard. In this session, the Council has considered 176 items of subsidiary legislation subject to negative vetting. Many of the items are relating to adjustments of anti-epidemic regulations. The government has moved 12 motions on subsidiary legislation subject to positive vetting, all of which have been passed. This Council has passed a resolution moved under the Interpretation and General Clauses Ordinance to reshuffle statutory functions of public officers for the reorganization of the government so that the new structure could be put in place for the new term of government on the 1st of July. the Council has conducted 33 members' motion debate with no legislative effect. We spoke for the people on issues of concern to them. On the 1st of July this year, President Xi came to Hong Kong and delivered an important speech. I immediately approved a debate moved under Rule 16(2) of the Rules of Procedure for legislators who spoke for the people to have a discussion on the implementation of the address by President Xi on the 1st of July for opening a new chapter of good governance. Members relay the views of the public to the government. The executive and the legislature work together for the good of Hong Kong so we can meet the 4 musts and 4 proposals made by President Xi. The 20th National Congress was held successfully. It has outlined the policy direction and blueprint of our country's future. It has huge significance. Our country has entered an era of a new journey. Hong Kong is presented with new opportunities. Members moved a motion on embracing the spirit of the 20th National Congress to further develop Hong Kong. I allow an extension of time for members to speak. Over 80 members have spoken in the debate that lasted close to 7 hours. They have put forward insightful ideas for the integration into national development under the one country, 2 systems. I am glad to see that in this new chapter of prosperity, the new term of LegCo continued to perform its constitutional function to be the defender of an executive-led system, to support and monitor the government's work, and to speak for the people by bringing different voices into the Council, to promote good governance, to respond to people's needs, and to work for the people and for Hong Kong for a better future.
Mr. President, this is the end of session press conference. Members of the media are welcome to put questions to the President, but please state the media outlet you represent. Good morning, Mr. President. This is from TVB. With patriots administering Hong Kong to enhance good governance, can we see a breakthrough? Next August, September, can we spare the recess of the Council? Second question. Members of the public are not quite familiar with some of the faces in this Council, especially when there are 90 members in this term of Council. How are you going to enhance the publicity of members? And how are you going to convince the public that the Legislative Council will continue to exercise a stringent monitoring of the government so that the Legislative Council will not be regarded as some grandstanding? Regarding the performance of this Council, members have worked hard in monitoring the government. But of course, the way we monitor the government has been different. Members have not resorted to various means to stop meetings, to resort to the counting of quorums so that meetings would be aborted. But it doesn't mean that we're not monitoring the government. Basically, as you can see, members are very concerned about major policies. In different panels, committees, the two subcommittees under the Finance Committee and the Finance Committee itself, such as the panel on public services, which is in progress now. Members have continued to ask questions. And I think that whenever we receive an establishment proposal, members would scrutinize them. Also, for the Public Works Subcommittee, it's not the case that members will show outright support to any government proposal. Instead, they ask questions very meticulously. So unless you have not read the media reports, you should see that we're not a rubber stamp, and members will not just casually support any government proposal. If you've read reports on the Bills Committee's work carefully, such as the occupational safety and occupational safety and health legislation, members ask very detailed questions, and in some instances, government officials were unable to answer these questions. Hence, it took longer for the Bills Committee to complete this work. Likewise, for the residential care homes legislation, members ask, again, questions in great detail, such as questioning why the definition of drugs has not been put in the bill. They ask whether, for example, lozenges should be regarded as drugs. So indeed, members ask very detailed questions, only that the media may not find these questions to be juicy and interesting. In any case, our meetings in the Council are all open to the public, and you will find that we have continued to exercise stringent monitoring of the government. Only that under the new era of good governance, we have good interactions, and we no longer resort to filibustering, etc. And to answer the other question, if you know about the questions members ask, how meticulous they work, then of course their publicity will be enhanced, so that we understand that members are here to serve the public. They're not here to seek their own gains. And let me take this as an example. In the past, members might move an amendment at a very early stage, but no media would report on such matters. On the contrary, if I mispronounce the name of a member, say Ms. Carmen Can as another name, then this would get reported. So I do rely on your good selves, the media, for painting a positive image of the work of the Council. Speaker's not coming through. What about the summer recess? Despite calling it a summer recess, it's not the case that we are not working at all. We may not have council meetings, but we continue to work hard. In fact, I discussed this with different government officials before. This is the time for the government to take a break, especially when the government will have to be spending a lot of time on preparing to the upcoming the policy address. In order to answer a question of the Council, a public officer will need to spend a lot of time and a lot of effort in his preparation. So say if we have, a bill tabled and a motion followed by several questions, then the public officers will simply have no time for anything else, such as drawing up policies in a policy address. For LegCo members, As you can see, in the previous summer, they visited different communities. They also helped draw up policy ideas. And then, as you will also see, the Chief Executive's policy address will incorporate the ideas of members. So it's not the case that everyone is taking a break. Instead, members of the Council are getting in touch with the public to heed their views. And likewise, when the Chief Executive prepares his policy address, he also incorporates the views of members in his policy formulation process. And that's the kind of interactions we're talking about. So despite taking a break, members of the Council and government officials continue to fulfill their functions. And I've actually checked the parliaments in other countries. In the legislative year, they usually hold some 30 meetings. That's similar to the situation in Hong Kong. So that's not the case, that we're actually taking a break. We continue to fulfill our functions whilst on break.
I'm from Now TV, President. There are people who describe the LegCo as having just one face. What is your view? And previously, you would describe LegCo sessions as quite stormy. Do you use the same word to describe the operation of the LegCo now? It is very clear for the media to see what is actually going on because you report our sessions every week. There are frictions because we have 90 members who represent different geographical constituencies, different sectors. So we have pluralistic voices over a very wide spectrum. It's very colorful. When all these colors are mixed together, you won't see just one single color. You will see all these different shades representing different views. These different views are related to the administration on behalf of the people. The government, having taken on board these views, will translate them into policies that will benefit the people, because that is the right way. So from time to time you see frictions and the temperature going up in motions and debates. Some motions are not passed and some amendments of these motions are passed or negatived. So we have different views, different voices in the legislature. And these different voices are sent to the ears of the government so that they will feel the pulse of the public. We monitor the government. Bills committees scrutinize in detail these bills. If you have properly covered these sessions, then you will know that it is rather colorful. And you used the word stormy. But now it's different. Members are very pragmatic to serve the public. They don't just do something to get attention. As I said, some members might remain opaque because they just want to serve the public. Their aim is not to get famous or get known. I'm from Hong Kong Economic Journal. First, about the anti-chamber exchange sessions. Do you think that it should continue? Should the format be changed? And the last one took place the same time as Council. Do you think it undermines the dignity of the Council? We see many different activities having resumed. And the demonstration area that was closed in 2019, will it be reopened? And now we don't have division anymore. So for funding in the Finance Committee, most of these are done without division. Will it affect people's right to understand what is going on? For the first question, for most parliaments, they will indicate their votes by just a voicing, so that there is no division. That is the same in the US and in the UK. So those four will say aye. Previously, people called for a division because they wanted to have on record that they opposed to the proposal. But now we still have objectors, but it's for the legislators to decide whether they would like to call for a division. If they call for one, then I will proceed accordingly. So that is just a normal operation of a council. There's nothing special about it. You may feel that the demonstration area has been closed for a very long time, but you can see that there is a lot of construction work going on. If an area is not safe enough, we will close it. Say, for example, the ingress of the car park. We've closed one lane because of an overhead work going on. And on the 5th floor, the garden is also closed because of ongoing works. The chairperson of the Electoral Commission will ensure that there is a safe environment for everyone to work in. So when safety is not guaranteed, the area will not be opened. We hope that in a year or so, when all the works have been completed, the Electoral Commission will further consider that. What's your first question? Antechamber exchange session. As I have said something on Facebook. In the old LegCo, there were no offices for officials and members. People would gather in the antechamber before they had to go into the chamber to ask or answer questions. So there were exchanges. And we realized that these exchanges can be quite fruitful because you can either lobby your idea or you would exchange views. The different political parties would be there, and by putting their heads together, something good could come from it. So with the exchanges between different sectors and different backgrounds, it worked magic. Starting from last year, there are 90 people, 90 members. We have asked the students of an education institution to design our antechamber to accommodate officials and members to exchange views. In previous terms, members did not talk to members from other political parties, and government officials did not really want to meet others. So we took the opportunity to revitalize the antechamber, to restart discussions. Members without any office in the LegCo building can make use of the antechamber. I took Mr. John Lee for a visit and I told him the story. That gave him the idea of the antechamber exchange sessions. It is good for officials to exchange views with members. So it is necessary. We've had 5 sessions in different formats. I have handed it over to the coordination group and the government to find the way forward. In the past, on Wednesdays, members would either stay in the council, in the chamber, or in the antechamber to talk to others. Sometimes members would make arrangements with others to meet. So it's a very convenient way for people to meet, and it's conducive to the relationship between the executive and the legislature. Government officials and members are of different background, and they all have different aspirations and expectations. So there is no one single way that would meet everyone's needs. But the anti-chamber exchange session has been warmly welcomed, and I do think that it is very good.
Mr. Leung, TVB Pearl News. I have 2 questions. First one, in what ways can the visibility of the LegCo members be improved? The second one, how the anti-chamber exchange sessions have helped the relationship between this term's legislative council and the government? Thank you.
Can you repeat your first question?
So, in what ways do you think the visibility of the LegCo members can be improved?
I think it's very simple. As I answered the previous question, the media need also to work to report, not only those interesting subject, but you need to report the actual work of the members. If you look at all the members are working extremely diligently, especially in small details in the panels, at the bills committees, and even if you look at the question time, they ask quite good questions. They may not be eye-catching, okay, but it's practical for the people of Hong Kong, for the well-being of the people. So members of the Legislative Council are working for the benefit of the people. They are not, movie stars or pop stars. They need to catch the eyes of the media, or they catch the popularity of the people. The results, the way to improve the livelihood issues or economic issues of the people are of paramount importance. So you may look back at the 4-year session, what have they done for the people of Hong Kong, for their sector, for the economic well-being. I think that, to me, counts more than eye-catching news, in the media. So that, is the important element if I measure it, how hard they work for Hong Kong people. Now, on the anti-chamber exchanges, as I said, that in the old Legislative Council, members have no offices, officials also have no office in the building. So while there is a meeting at the chamber, quite a lot of members can have to stay in the antechamber. And with that, you have different exchanges in policy, or even the official would lobby, members that you should vote for us, or there's something that you can do. So those exchanges, have a lot of, good results. I remember I had a session with the minister on plastic bag, levies. In the end, we solved the problem, and we agreed that 50 cents would be right, and we helped the government to lobby the industry that to accept 50 cents. So there are a lot of good exchanges. Now, some of them may not be a single party, as lobbying the minister. But when you talk with, different parties that have different points of views, the government official can take the best out of it, and that would fit most of the Hong Kong people. So those exchanges are good for government when they can hear views from legislators who represent different segment of Hong Kong people, so that they can bring back, have better ideas how they can, get the policy or get the legislation through the council.
RTHK.
Two questions from RTHK. So first question, with Patriots administering Hong Kong, has the Legislative Council been monitoring the government in a more powerful way, or has it been giving the government less of a difficult time? So second question, how effective have the anti-chamber meeting has been in improving the policy making and implementation? Do you think it allowed the government to be more down to earth, or know what's happening on the ground in the community?
I think the anti-chamber exchanges we had held 5 times. And I think government are finding it useful. Otherwise, they will not insist on carry on. Already, we are planning the next one. The exchanges is good for legislative and executive, liaison, and that work together for the benefit of the people. As I use it before, we are, World Cup now, so I use World Cup as an example. We are the same team, okay? So the same team, we just have to work, together. We have to have exchanges together to let the legislator will let government know what's from at least the legislator's mind, what we represent, the segment or sectors we represent, the ideas of it. So the good thing, as it came out that, from all exchanges, as I mentioned before, the quarantine period, how we dealt with COVID, that is something that we told government, and government accept, and therefore relaxing the quarantine and the COVID, measures. So it's a good exchange. Any good exchange between the government and legislator is a good thing. Okay, if you are the playing forward midfield, if I don't pass the ball to you, you are no good. Okay, so we just have to work out a system of exchanges between the whole team. The whole team is working for the benefit of Hong Kong. The legislator are not playing against the government. Likewise, the government is not seeing the legislator as the enemies. We are the same team, okay? So the more exchanges and more understanding between us, the better. Now, your first question, are we, almost as you said, are we a rubber stamp, let government pass through everything they want? If you look at it for total whole year, we have a lot of sparks between the government official and legislators, especially when you go down to the panels, the bills committees, even BWSC, Finance Committee. There are a lot of sparks. While the government may have very good intent to do the legislation, but the details, as we always said, the details is very important. And you can see and you can look back, all through those committees, the legislator have a lot of questions and a lot of opinions about the details. If you look at last Wednesday, we have the bill on the tax, the European EU tax. If you watch back, KP Chen, as the Bills Committee Chairman, said, the bill was passed in a very short period of time, but he thanked the government hard work in lobbying, in working with legislator, and also is bidirectional, that listen to the legislator's opinion and also the finance industry's opinion, and change some of the on the bills. Therefore, it makes it very easy to pass the bill. So we just hope that government will, take this, KP's advice that, if they want the bill to get through, they have to lobby the legislator, they lobby the industry, and work together with legislator. So the important thing is that we are a same team. We need to work together to make sure the legislative process is smooth. Smooth doesn't mean rubber stamp, okay? So that's the important message I want you to carry to the people of Hong Kong.
好嘅，最後一條商台。
Last question, commercial radio. Good morning, President. The turnout rate for this election was rather low, so there were criticisms saying that this council is not representative and people don't care about the work of the LegCo anymore. How do you assess people's concern about the work of the LegCo? At last year, the administration's explanation work was criticized. The government said they would improve. So far, what is your assessment of the government's work in explaining policies to legislators? Well, different members have different mode of operation. If you look at what Mr. Chan Kim-po said, and he said last week that the government has done quite well in explaining the policy. If this has been done, then this will be better. So it is very important to have healthy interaction. If the chief executive or principal officials have good intentions to put in place a bill, but the devil is in the details. Then it is for The next stage is for legislators to have good interactions with government officials. Our work to monitor the government is as diligent as that in the previous term. Well, it's not the case that with the improved electoral system, there is only one political stance in LegCo. That is not the case. We have different functions and we have different positions. If you are a centre back, then you will do your job as a centre back. So we are as conscientious as before. What has disappeared are destructive behavior in the form of filibustering and just hurling of unfounded criticisms, as well as aborted meetings. We have done our work very diligently to monitor the government. Sorry, the speaker is off mic. Well, what the public pay attention to are matters that would affect them. So if it's about the epidemic, then they would be more concerned. And if it is, like what I said, an inland revenue legislative amendment, then they may not pay as much attention. Previously, what they paid attention to was people hurling objects across the chamber. That was interesting to them. But now we have healthy interaction. We have good governance. We don't have these stormy sessions. To the media, it may mean that there is less controversy to report on. That may be the case. But if it affects the public, then they will naturally monitor the work of the LegCo. Thank you very much. Thank you for attending the press conference. Thank you.